Made Mightier without bullets.
Recently, I have become addicted to the Wisecrack channel. In addition to its wonderful Thug Notes series, this channel has got so much amazing humor, especially for an Arthurian-minded person like myself. Not Arthurian. I'm saying I like to write. I like the writing. Moving on. So they made a video about Deadpool, and it got me thinking. They asserted that the self-referential humor that is so prevalent in Deadpool is in fact the inner essence of hipsterdom, and that it was a signal of a society that is basically creatively bankrupt and lacking inspiration to create something new, mocking what exists because they cannot make something fresh. I don't know if I completely agree with that, though I can see where some people might be doing this. I assert that the best self-referential humor comes from a different perspective. At the very least, I think it's driven by a different force. You see, I think that whenever something new is created and it's 100% fresh in people's mind, that starts the pendulum swaying. It sways over to one side, and when it gets to the other side, that's where the cynical self-referential humor comes from. That yada yada, yeah, we know, let's swing back the other way. And then something new is created and we swing back again. And that pendulum is so important because not only does it show society getting fed up with something and it becoming so blasé that we can gloss over it, but it also means it's time for something new to be created. It's a mark. But that also means something else. If everyone knows this, if everyone is completely drawn into it to the fact that they understand it from stem to stern without needing an explanation, that means that medium, in this case comic book movies, has achieved an art of what I would call mastery. And I'll tell you why. It's because suddenly, like pulling Jenga pieces out of the tower, we can just say, yeah, you know this bit. Let's move on. Yeah, you know, superpowers. It works like that. Sure. Let's keep going. Yeah. He can survive anything. Let's pull that piece out. Let's just keep moving with that. The X-Men. You've seen the movies. We don't have to talk about this. You know it all. And I'd say Deadpool is now a shaking Jenga tower, but stable enough that it stands on its own. It's not so loose and boring that it just collapses under its own weight, like so many of the scary movie films and things like that, where they pull out so many bricks that it just becomes stupid. Like there's no rules left. Like there's no form left. It's just one stupid joke hitting you over the head again and again and again. It takes all the fun out of the film, out of the experience. Deadpool hasn't gotten there, and I can see where it flirted with the edge of it, but it didn't fall over that edge. And I would argue that makes it a very successful film. And I would argue that it, while it does signal that the pendulum is swinging back towards making something new and fresh, it in itself manages to achieve that mastery. The mastery that says, yes, we can remove pieces. We can remove lots of pieces. But it's because this has become so ingrained in our culture, you'll understand it anyway. But see, what makes it a truly masterful stroke is that it doesn't just leave the blank spaces. Instead, it replaces the blocks that it's removed with a little bit of levity and uses it to tell a more complicated story, something that would normally take several more hours at the very least to kind of fully flesh out, but it manages to cram all of those pieces in to the spots that they've removed for that non-essential knowledge, using familiar building blocks to encode a story and encapsulate it down into a smaller package. It manages to tell an impressively scoped out story with a complex goal that doesn't involve just the they're destroying the world, kind of villain that we all come to expect from superhero films, with some actually interesting deep characters, while telling a backstory, while being a superhero team-up movie, while introducing people not only to Deadpool, but Negasonic Teenage Warhead, a character most people don't even know exists, and even Colossus, who at least casual fans don't know exists. We're talking about it establishes new X-Men, it establishes itself in the timeline, it establishes establishes a whole new character, stem to stern, origin story to conclusion of story, romance relationships, former relationships, new relationships, all of it in a single film. If that's not mastery, I don't know what it is. It took Spider-Man 3 films the first time. It wasn't good. The last one was terrible. They had 3 films to work with and they couldn't do what Deadpool did in 1? And I'm telling you, it's because they used shorthand. It's because they achieved mastery. So the next time you look down on self-referential humor as being nothing but hipsterdom, as taking from other people's creme de la creme and repurposing it as their own, remember the fact that it's actually just a pendulum, swinging to one end and then to the other. And it's completely possible for something to be self-referential and at the same time structurally sound, as long as it uses the space removed to tell a deeper, more complex, more nuanced story, or at the very least a more efficient and hilarious one. Thanks for sticking with us this week on Pen Made Mightier, and I hope to speak with you guys again soon.
Pen made mightier without roids.
Thank you for being a friend. Gotta have the clap or I can't go. Alright, that was a good one. Okay.
I've Pavloved you into starting and stopping.
Oh yeah, is that right?
Oh yeah, if you can't start without a clap.
It's true. It's just
Ingrained.
yeah, absolutely.
Editor's note, we don't really need a clap. I just do it to make sure he actually starts on time.
You don't need an editor's note either, it's just us.
Editor's note, hire assistant editors so that way I can use an edit note to editors.
Okay, it's your money. Do what you want.
Note to editor, don't hire assistant editors. They cost money.
Okay, that's fair too.